What's up, everybody? I wanted to talk to you about the patch of the patch, if you will, or the tune-up of FC25's post-patch, which the game, honestly, has been excellent. However, the scorelines have been outrageous because they took the defensive assistance all the way down to zero, and they also did well to work on the spacing defensively. However, to fix that, they tuned it up a little bit, and you can absolutely tell in some instances. Now, what I mean by that is you still absolutely need to manually defend. And as you can see here, the game still opens up quite a bit. So it's not like it totally, neglected the changes they made. They just, like I pretty much predicted, had to adjust the defensive assistance to a point where they tried to bring the score lines back down to at least decent. And they absolutely did that. Now they can always adjust it more if they have to, but overall, the gameplay stayed the same, so it wasn't anything crazy like some people, for some reason thought, which I guess I understand just because of how FC or EA Sports, I should say, was in the past. But you see there just an example of how not only the gameplay is with the open spaces to work through, but also this is that 4-2-3-1 wide that I did the tactics video on. So it's kind of a double whammy. I wanted to show you pretty much the breakdown of how FC25 is post-patch and how the 4-2-3-1 wide works well with it. A little bonus bicycle kick from Holland there. But it's all about spacing. It's all about making the right passes in that space and alleviating the pressure. The defensive pressure is almost always there from your opponent, right? Some opponents do better with it than others, but it doesn't change the fact that the spacing is there to pass through. You just have to find the right passes, and that generally is what separates, a player winning from losing, is the player that can find the best passing lanes, right? Make those passes, and then obviously finish off the chances after they make those passes. But first things first, you have to get the ball up to get those chances. And if you do what I did there, you're going to minimize your opponent getting chances. Defensively, it's all about reading the lanes your opponent is going to pass in or that you anticipate your opponent's going to pass through, and making sure you get a defender there, right? Anticipation is huge in this post-patch. If you're reactive instead of proactive defensively, you're going to get burned every time. It's just the ball, the movement is just too fast to be reactive. You have to be proactive. Now, why I love this 4-2-3-1 so much is because those two CDMs, they absolutely put in work, not only defensively, as you've seen here, my new playing that kind of setup ball to Zidane, but they're also that spark, almost like the quarterback of the attack. Once the ball is won defensively, not every time, right? Sometimes it comes from your wingbacks or even straight from your center backs, but a vast majority of the time, your two CDMs, which for me are Manu and Caicedo, are going to win the ball, sometimes having to dribble out of pressure and then find that pass to spark the attack. In this situation here, you see Traore actually comes back to the ball because remember I have him on inside attacker, but then I have him or inside forward, but then I have him unbalanced. That's why he's kind of brought back a little bit instead of on attack, and that is because I need him to come and get the ball. I found when they're on attacker, too many times the wingbacks are able to step on him. They're just pushed too far forward. So in this situation, he received the ball, and Manu actually was in a beautiful spot, right, to then play in Zidane, and now the rest is history. You work it in the box, and here's where your front four come in handy. Now remember, Zidane is a cam, but many times he will make those overlapping runs undetected, right, because he's coming in from deep, straight past Holland, and then you either get a chance directly or you work it around in the box until you find an open shot. You see there, though, perfect example of how the defense is a bit tighter. Here's our version of it. Not quite as tight as the opposition's defense, right? That probably has to do with settings. The ball was a little too far forward there, but you sort of see the interplay though. You see the spacing of this 4-2-3-1 wide, and also in general just the spacing that is now available post patch, right? It gives you the opportunity to, and the freedom to kind of be creative and play these kind of balls. That one was a little too far. You see a good win there defensively. You've seen our CDMs come in to the plate big time there, as they do many times. And it's just the ball was a little bit off. But look at this. This is perfect spacing. You see the back four there, right? But you've seen, in this case, Caicedo was kind of pushed a little bit back, covering almost for the center back. Then he comes up, he pressures the opposition, pushes them more in a negative, more backwards, which is a good thing. As long as they're going backwards, obviously they're not going towards your goal. They can't score. So you see here they kind of recycle the attack. Now we have to reset, and they come right back at Caicedo, which isn't smart because he's an absolute beast defensively. Once again, just a simple little gets his foot in there, wins the ball. Just simple little tackle. Barely even makes contact with the opposition. Straight to the center back, and then notice, even though it's in slow motion, you've seen the play before, in regular speed. I quickly played the ball then to my other CDM, which is Manu, who distributed the ball out wide left towards Grealish. And now you see that attacking space. You see where that inside attacker comes into play. Both Grealish and Traore are pinched in. And then you see where the wingbacks, even though they're on the full defensive setting, they can absolutely get involved. Look all the way past up the screen, past Traore. That wingback is open over there. My right back over there, which is McManaman. And watch kind of how this plays out. And I have McManaman, by the way, on the most defensive setting, right? So how this plays out, you've seen before, obviously, but it's just not a bad try by Zidane, just not the best ball. The goalkeeper gets it. However, besides the fact that if that ball's a little bit better or played on the ground or whatever you want to call it, maybe Holland could have scored. But if not, that ball absolutely could have kept swinging around to Traore. And then, depending on how the defense reacted, McManaman then could have received it. You see here attacking from the wing, making that extra pass is so important to avoid the defense blocking the shot. Obviously, the defense, it's very tough to play defense. So if you rush shots and allow them to block it just because you just hit it at them, right? You didn't make them use much effort defensively. Well, that's your fault, right? The attackers have too much of an advantage to rush shots and not make the most of your chances. It will be the difference between a win and a loss. As you see here, how McManaman comes into play, overlapping from the wing. So I know it was pretty quick succession going over that stuff, but I just wanted to give you guys, an outlay of how this not only post-patch kind of gameplay looks, but also how that 4-2-3-1 wide plays out in this post-patch. Also want to show you the tune-up. Not much change, right? It is a little tougher. The defense is definitely tighter. There's a little more assistance too. Mainly, I just noticed the spacing a little bit was a little bit tighter. There wasn't as many holes, but they are still there, right? If anything, you just have to be that much sharper to create chances. So it didn't change anything drastically, right? It just made it, again, so they're trying to get to where the scores aren't so outrageous. So with that being said, I absolutely love it. The spacing is still phenomenal. The game is so, fluid. It's got a good pace to it. It's just, as you can see, it's all about finding the right passes, finding the right times to dribble, but you have to be careful because the opponent most likely will be pressuring you, right? There's always some kind of pressure. Again, some teams do it better than others, but either way, it's just the name of the game is quick passes through the spaces, right? A lot of short passes, then you will find that long pass, sometimes a killer pass to send a player in on goal, and other times just a long pass to further advance your attack. But that's the name of the game. That's how you're going to be successful. So just keep working on it. Keep grinding. Keep having fun, and then we'll see you next time. Appreciate you.